Mm. Well, hello there, everybody. Hello there, everybody. It's Carl Gilliard, the twice married brother, and welcome to the first Twice Married Brother podcast. Whew, well, this has been a long time coming, and there's been some procrastination going on, and sometimes I was drawn away by things I had to do. But the time is now, and here I am, and I'm very excited to bring this brand of relationship, tete-a-tete, opinion to you. Now, full disclosure, Twice Married Brother is based on and comes from the male heart. Okay, so I do this for men. Although ironically, they are the ones who feed back the least to me. But I do this for men because I'm a man and I just wanted to be able to voice some of these interesting perspectives on love, relationship, and marriage to the brothers, to have them kind of chew it up and feed it back a little bit. When I see them, it's funny when I see men out, they do tell me they see what I'm writing and what I'm talking about, but they don't put it on the IG. They don't, put it on the Facebook. So, but listen, I am happy that a lot of ladies do also watch and follow, and they do feedback, and sometimes not so favorably, but just so you know, this podcast and the brand is geared to voice or give voice to men from a male heart. And so we hope that the ladies do enjoy it, and many of you do, and you do read, and you do feedback to me, and I appreciate that. And we're glad to have you. I'm glad you're there. But I do want you to know that the Twice Married Brother is here to give voice to the heart of men. Sometimes we are accused of not articulating and communicating and all of that, and that's not what we do here. We definitely do that. So just ladies, you say you want that, and so that's what this particular program does. And so now we're in podcast form. We have been on Facebook for like 10, 12 years, and now on Instagram, and now here in the podcast space. So let me give you some background on how Twice Married Brother came to be. So I've been married, full disclosure, 3 times. In fact, some of you have said that I should call my brand Thrice Married Brother. I'm not doing that, okay? It's not going to happen. I just like the way Twice Married Brother sounds. But during my second marriage is when this came to be. I was in a marriage that I thought might last. It was not going well. I knew that. But, I was putting my best foot forward. I really was. I really wanted it to work. And out of despondence one day and futility, I went to Facebook and wrote a blog because I was just so despondent over the fact that no matter what I did, or how hard I worked at it, or how sincere I was, it just fell on deaf ears. It got worse and worse and worse. And so I got up one morning, just out of my mind, and I went to my computer on Facebook and created a note. Back in those days, on Facebook, they had these notes. You could write notes. It's kind of like a blog. And I called it Notes from a Twice Married Brother. And when I did that, I got a fair amount of audience. People dug what I was writing. A lot of men did. I had one friend, his name was Michael Ajakwe. God rest his soul. Brilliant man, brilliant writer. He loved what I was writing. But in the first blog anyway, I took a lot of responsibility for where I was, and if I remember correctly, the first note was about choosing a wife. What should men look for? And it was kind of a simple blog about women who have issues with their father and women who, are looking for a man that has money and all of that. But it was kind of a primitive blog, but people did like it. So anyway, move forward. That second marriage did not last. And during that time, I was despondent. I was a mess emotionally. I was just, I mean, I should have saw it coming. And I guess I did see it coming, to be fair, because there were warning signs. But I was optimistic. I just felt that it was going to work out, right? I won't get into the specifics of why I thought that, but I did. I thought it might work out. But anyway, it didn't work out. And so I found myself on the couch, air mattress, I should say, floor of a friend's apartment. No money, no apparent future, just that's where I was. Eventually, I got my own place and no furniture in that place, but I just continued to be despondent. I lost like 50 pounds. I got down to like 178 pounds. I was a rail. Okay. And I was so sensitive to everything. You know, when you are like in this place of desperation and sorrow, it feels like every song you listen to is about you or your situation, or every movie you see, you know, is about you and your situation. And that's what it was like during that time. To this day, there's certain songs, when I hear these songs, it takes me right back to those days. And it's wild. Which brings me to the point of our first podcast. There's a movie called Jerry Maguire. Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar for that film. Tom Cruise, Regina King, Renee Zellweger, Jay Marr, a bunch of good actors in this thing. One of my favorite movies. I used to watch it all the time. But one time during this time of despondence, I'm watching this film, and all of a sudden I saw myself and I saw my problem. I saw exactly why I was in the mess that I was in. I saw it as clear as day. I'd seen this movie a dozen times before. All of a sudden, I'm watching it and I'm like, a light went on in my head about this film. It just, in my view, Jerry Maguire is the blueprint for how to build a purpose-centered relationship and or marriage. How it starts, and from a man's perspective, what to look for in your wife. A wife, whether anyone likes her or not, purely defined, is a helper. A helper. So when a man is looking for a wife, I mean, look, obviously this is 2023 and you ladies are doing some brilliant, wonderful things, which is great for you. But men who are looking for wives, at its core, we should be looking for a helper. And we can't look for a helper unless we know who we are, unless we know and have identified what our purpose in life is. Now, when I talk about purpose, it doesn't mean that a job per se, although obviously your job includes your purpose. It should be what your heart design is, what God has spoken to you about who you are in the world and what you put here to do. And your wife should own that as if it's hers. She may have other things she's doing. And I'm going to get to that part at the end of this podcast in terms of what that looks like. But from a man's perspective, she should own your purpose as if it's hers. So when I was watching Jerry Maguire, the thought occurred to me. I said, my God, this is what I'm doing wrong. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some pictures and some video from the film. I'm going to walk you through the film. And with that context in mind, I have to lay that groundwork for you. Okay, so Jerry Maguire is about a very successful sports agent named Jerry Maguire, played by Tom Cruise. And Jerry is successful, does his job well, but he's kind of detached, right? And he has a problem with intimacy, but he's successful, right? He's just kind of out there doing his thing. He's got a fiance. I'll go into who she is in a minute, and what type of woman she is and how she doesn't really fit into his life, right? We'll get to that as well. But Jerry has kind of an epiphany about his business. And he realizes that he, as a sports agent, is not fulfilling his purpose in the way that he should. So let's get to that for a second. Let me show you some pictures first. Let's get to some pictures. There we go. So there is the first picture of Jerry. Jerry is like he's sweating in his sleep. He can't sleep. He's like tossing and turning, and he's like going through something. Jerry is going through something. You see him there. And in his next picture, you see him. He gets up and he's washing his face. He's putting water on his face to kind of get clarity. He just doesn't know what's going on. It's almost like he's being shaken in his sleep, and he's pregnant with something new. Something is exciting about to happen to Jerry. You see Jerry's face right now. He's intense. He's intensely on his computer, typing up this new idea. You see him there on his laptop there in his apartment, right? He's just fiercely typing, just almost like it's going on with like on autopilot, right? Jerry is giving birth to a new revolutionary idea. Here it is. Jerry's at the copying place to get copies made of this new manifesto, this new memo, the new idea on how to be a sports agent. That's what Jerry's doing right there. He's getting it printed, and there it is. So you see that right there. That is Jerry's manifesto, his memo. Now, for the purpose of this podcast and the rest of the time we spend together here, that memo is Jerry Maguire's purpose. That there is Jerry's purpose, his heart. Okay, so that's very important. So Jerry is so excited in the moment. He runs back to work. He gets there that night, actually, goes into the office, and he puts all of those memos, those manifestos in the mailboxes of all his coworkers. Right? He wakes up the next morning and says, oh my God, what have I done? He realizes that they may not be vibing with this new idea of sports agenting. He runs to get them out the boxes, but it's too late. He gets to the office and realizes that everybody's read the manifesto, and he knows he could be in trouble. Right? It's too late. It's cat's out the bag. Now remember, that's his heart. That's his purpose. But he hasn't embraced it yet. He had that moment where he was pregnant with the idea and he put it out there. But he just wasn't ready to do that, because it would have meant that he had to leave his comfort zone. He was in danger of losing his comfort zone in exchange for what was his purpose in his heart. And that's the issue. So now, move forward. We move to a scene where Jerry is on a plane, and he lands back in LA, and there's a woman there. Her name is Dorothy Boyd, played by Renee Zellweger. And Dorothy Boyd is into Jerry Maguire, okay? She's into Jerry Maguire, and he runs into her at the airport. Jerry doesn't even know who she is, and this is what happens. I want you to watch what happens when Jerry meets Dorothy. Go.
I loved your memo, by the way.
You did?
Yeah.
Thanks. Actually, it was just a mission statement.
Well, I think in this age, optimism like that is a revolutionary act.
You think so?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, because I didn't know if I should write it. I mean, it was 2 a.m. I don't know, some of the stuff I just, woo, you know?
That part about how we should embrace what is still virginal and our enthusiasm now, just a second, and force open the tightly clenched fist of commerce and give a little back for the greater good.
Uh-huh.
I was inspired, and I'm an accountant. I know. I mean, to respect yourself enough, to say it out loud, to put yourself out there like that, so openly, so nakedly. I don't know. Got me.
Okay. I love that scene because Jerry, as I said, has not come to terms with his own heart. It's there, but he's just not ready for it. But yet, this stranger, who he barely knows, she gets it. She gets it. Now, look, full disclosure, I'm not trying to say you should go out and men find some lady who you don't know. She voices her approval for what you're doing, and you marry her tomorrow. No, what I'm doing here is I'm setting this up to show you what to look for in a wife. Your wife, your prospective wife, your intended, will own and be able to even explain your idea better than you can. And she will find a way to expand and multiply that, because that's what God put her here to do, as a helper. So all I'm saying is that your wife, your lady, will be into what you're doing more than even you, even if you haven't caught up to it, to the point where she's not only going to see what you're doing, but she's also going to see ways to expand it. And when she speaks life to that dream, to that purpose, it's going to resonate with you because it's already in you. And that's what you should look for in a wife. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So now we get to the moment of truth, when Jerry is now about to lose his job, and he does. And what happens? How does Dorothy respond? Let's take a look.
Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me besides Flipper here? This is embarrassing. All right. Wendy, shall we?
Oh, Jer, I'm 3 months away from the pay increase.
Okay.
I will go with you.
Dorothy Boyd, thank you.
Right now. Don't do it. Shh. Bye.
We'll see you all again. Sleep tight. Let's see how they do without us. Avery.
No,
It's over.
didn't hear it.
There's something missing here, don't you think?
You have never been alone.
Listen to me.
And you can't be alone.
It's over.
No one has ever dumped me.
I'm not trying to make history here.
I did the 23-hour nose route to the top of El Capitan in 18 hours and 23 minutes. I can make this work.
No.
Oh, Jerry.
Didn't ever want to hurt you.
I won't let you hurt me, Jerry. I'm too strong for you, loser.
Okay, so I'm taking a bit of a digression here. So at the same time all of this is going on, Jerry's engaged to this powerful, sexy woman. I forgot her name in the movie right now. Oh gosh, it's played by Kelly Preston, who, by the way, is no longer with us the rest of her. So brilliant actor. But when Jerry gets into trouble, right, she blames him for it. And Jerry's he's kind of got an inkling that something's wrong here. So he breaks up with her. And you saw what happened when he decided to break up with her. She punched him out. Okay, so now that's over. So that leaves Jerry free to do whatever he needs to do. So now Jerry's really on this journey. He's lost his job. His fiance is gone. He's back to square one. He's basically back to square one. He's only got one client left. Okay, so one of the wonderful things about Jerry Maguire that I like is that we see this purpose thing with his memo, his manifesto. And Jerry's still trying to find his purpose. He knows it, but he's not embracing it yet. Dorothy sees it. She loves it. But they aren't together yet. But then they juxtapose that story with the story of Marcy and Rod Tidwell, played by Regina King and not Omar, this is his brother, Cuba Gooding Jr., right? And they model the perfectly synthesized and put together purpose-centered marriage. In fact, what I loved about the movie is that this Black couple is mirroring and showing perfectly connected, purpose-driven marriage to the other couple and to the world who's watching the film. Marcy is severely overprotective of Rod, but Rod is clearly her king, right? But she's the queen. So I want to show you how they deal with Regina King's character at the same time as they're dealing with what's going on with Brother Jerry and Dorothy. Go.
Jerry, this is humiliating, and I'm pregnant, and I'm incapable of bullshit. Where is our offer from Arizona?
Cronin's okay for lunch? Marcy's just one of our agents. It's Bob Sugar who needs to learn to knock. Pleasure.
You've called our house, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys.
Now, I don't know what you do for your 4%, but this man, my husband, has a whole plan, an image. And when you put him in a waterbed warehouse commercial, excuse me, you're making him common. When you know we deserve the big four. Shoe, car, clothing line, soft drink. I know about the 4 jewels of the celebrity endorsement dollar.
Wow.
I majored in marketing, baby, and so did my husband. We came to play.
Yeah. So this is Marcy. Now I went back a bit in the story. This is still when Jerry was still working for the sports agency right before he gets fired. But I wanted you to be introduced to who Marcy is. So now you have the dynamic. You have Marcy and Rod, and then you have Jerry and you have Dorothy, right? Who are finding themselves, right? And you can see that that Marcy is totally engaged. Now, we've moved along now, and Jerry and Dorothy are working together, and they eventually get married. So Dorothy is a quiet-spoken but strong and sensitive woman who is already connected to Jerry and his memo, which is his purpose. Okay, and I want you to watch how she deals. So here in this scene, we see how Marcy is coming at Jerry pretty hard. And let's watch what Dorothy does. Go.
We're going to roll with this problem, okay?
What are you so calm about? What do you mean, roll with this problem? Don't take it emotionally? You asked me, you haven't gotten emotional enough over this man. You know what? Somebody give me Bob Sugar on the phone.
Marcy. You want to leave?
Well, you know what? A lot of agents say a lot of shit. So what do you stand for?
You want to leave me?
What do you stand for?
How about a little piece of integrity in this world that is so full of greed and a lack of honorability that I don't know what to tell my son? Except here, have a look at a guy who isn't yelling, "Show me the money." You know he's broke? He is broke and working for you for free. Broke. Broke, broke, broke. I'm sorry, I'm just not as good at the insults as she is.
No, that was pretty good.
Okay, I'm going to stop for a second. Now, I want you to watch what Dorothy does next with respect to Jerry's purpose. Here we go. Go.
Oh, shit.
Let me show you something. Here. Rod, read this.
Whoa, no.
Jerry, I just think that... Jerry, I think it's...
Jerry, I appreciate
You shouldn't tell me.
Jerry.
You should be proud of that, and I still think that you read it.
Jerry.
And she busted too. She takes the memo, Jerry's purpose, out of the drawer where Jerry has it hidden, but she knows exactly where it is. It said, let me show you this, And then when Jerry says, no, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. Put it back in the drawer. And then she walks away, she's fussing. She's just fussing. She walked away fussing, right? That's what men need. If y'all could be fussing at us, telling us what to do, which invariably most men, experience that, then what you telling us what to do should be what we should be doing anyway. It should not be according to what you feel, what you think, to make you feel better as a wife. When it comes down to this piece about our lives and you're fussing, you should be fussing about stuff we should be doing in the first place. I love that scene. I love that scene. So I want to show you one more scene, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So I want to show you one more scene with Marcy and Rod. And Regina King just murders this kid. She was so good in this. So good. And she just has a lot of spunk, if that's a good word to use. It's kind of this old word in all of her work anyway. But, like This Christmas, she had that, and she had it in a couple of the films. And I just love that part of what she brings to all the characters, or many of the characters she plays. So in this scene, I wanted to show this because the perfectly constructed, purpose-centered relationship is where, because men can be very, very insecure. That's kind of the checks and balances of how God put us together. We can have a lot of weakness, a lot of doubts about where we're going when things aren't going that well for us. And it's the women, if it's the right women in our lives, that can build us back up, and we are just back on the warpath. So in this scene here is where, Jerry and they all have been looking for the new contract offer for Rod Tidwell's character. And so they're waiting patiently by the fax machine. That's when we use faxes all the time. And in comes the offer, and the offer is a crappy piece of crap offer. And Rod is despondent. I want you to watch what Marcy, his wife, does. Here we go.
This is what you're gonna do. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna reject that shitty contract. You're gonna play out your existing shitty contract. And you're gonna go be a free agent next year. Come on, hey, baby, this is us. You and me. We determine our worth. Baby, you are a strong, proud, surviving, splendid black man.
Marcy. You're the shit. If you get injured, you get 0.
It won't happen. I'm strong in mind.
Yeah, another great scene. And here again, you have Dorothy, you have Jerry, you have Rod, and you have Marcy, who are the perfectly matched, purpose-centered marriage. And you saw the impact that Marcy had on Rod right there. That is the kind of impact that really all wives have. It can be good or it can be bad. But the key is, how do we choose according to our purpose? That's what I want the brothers to get on this thing. All right. So in closing, I want to touch on something else. So ladies, you guys today, you guys are incredible. You're doing big things. You have your own purpose. You're killing and slaying the world with what you're doing, making a bunch of money, doing your thing, advanced degrees, fill in the blank. Okay, I get all that stuff. You might be thinking, where do I fit in this? Simple. Any man who loves you, which if he does love you, you'll see it by behavior. Any man who loves you will want to see you smile, will want to see you fulfill what you want to fulfill in life, and will not say, what is about me or the highway. He won't do that. Okay. Now you guys have to work that out, but I'm saying that you need to be connected to his purpose. And a lot of you guys, you ladies, are looking for the things you feel you need. And I'm not saying anything about that, but I'm asking you to consider to be found by a man whose purpose you can own as yours, whose purpose you can own as yours. It has nothing at all to do with what you're doing. You can still do those things. And you guys may have to volley between the two of you on how you're going to, administer and manage that in your lives. I get that, but that's what you have to do anyway. The way to virtually guarantee stability and longevity in a relationship is to be purpose-centered. Everything else is check marks, and check marks do not last over time. From the male side, in terms of looking for the biggest booty, the biggest breasts, or the best smile, and all the things you love that are nice, but they do not create longevity in a marital sense. Okay? So that's really all that I have today. Thank you for hanging with me on my first podcast, Twice Married Brother Podcast number 1. Stay tuned for number 2. It's coming. Purpose-centered relationships. Let's do it. Let's get it done, family. All right. Love y'all. Peace. 2 fingers.